Alright guys, here we're talking about the movie Leprechaun in the Hood. 2000's Leprechaun in the Hood, or Leprechaun 5. Lee, had you seen it before?
Of course.
This one is a classic to me. I can remember the first time someone mentioned this movie to me. And I quote, "Man, you seen Leprechaun 5? That dude be pimping hoes and smoking weed?" And I was like, I gotta see this.
Oh no. I remember this. It was like quotable and like a joke and like funny and stuff. This movie is horrible.
It's really a question of how could you divert from the franchise so drastically that it becomes this, and then after this gets made to then make a sequel, Leprechaun in the Hood 2?
Wait, I didn't know about that. I didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went.
Oh, it goes.
But I imagine that's a masterpiece. Yeah.
Hot off of space, we go to the Hood.
Yeah, exactly. We went to space before this.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the Hood. I don't know if I even like Leprechaun. I don't know, man. Warwick Davis is cool, but like the more Leprechaun I see, the less I like Leprechaun. There are some gems in here, but overall I was kind of like, all right, man, whatever.
As far as the franchise go, I would not start here. I do think there are some very fun ones.
You wouldn't start number 5?
It's honestly, well, because you really can start pretty much anywhere in this, because they're not really directly related. Like the fourth movie takes place, generations later than this one is. So they're not linked. This one starts off in the 70s for God's sake. But no, the idea that you got Warwick Davis to even do this, I'd say is worth a watch.
I don't know how to respond to that. I feel bad for Warwick Davis.
I don't.
He's having fun. That's cool. We can have some fun too, and then put this back in the trash.
So if you've seen it or don't care, falls into spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
Alright guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Leprechaun in the Hood. Lee, let's hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
I'm actually quite disappointed that it's in the Hood and not in the Hood. I feel like that's more
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because that was the vibe back in the day. This is a little late for that time period, I think. I'm like kind of a fan of like, it's like a modern exploitation film in a way.
Got your ass! Woo! Motown, here I come.
Yeah,
it's like a weird, like tropey, stereotypical thing. But there's a certain charm. The Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood is something I'm into. That may also be the Hood, but I feel like the Hood was making a lot of things. And
and was popular.
And there were Z's and things as well.
Oh, gotta add Z's.
The whole thing.
I think that the ongoing legacy of Leprechaun, just gaining all the powers he could ever need for any situation, and especially in this one where it's so cobbled together. I don't know who attained the rights and was able to make this, but it is such a departure. And you thought space was a departure.
As Shakespeare said, shit happens. Oh, daddy boy.
But this is once more removed. But before space, in quotes, so it didn't
time is a flat
circle.
It's totally fine.
Sure.
Are you alluding to the fact that he is like a hand mage now? He has like telekinesis?
You must be tripping.
He's had powers, I think.
Is that something?
Like in 4, he definitely had some things you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck is that? It's pretty much he's like just magic and can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. But we see him do like an Irish version of Force Lightning at one point. He conjures beings into existence. He gets the zombie fly girls that because those are like demon seductresses that he pulled out of nothing.
Did he?
Later we see him like touch girls and maybe
become things.
He was
turning girls into them.
We don't see him do it originally. He's just in a safe and he goes, demons bring upon my zombie fly girl, something, something.
From the depths of the netherworld, I summon you, me zombie fly girls.
And whether that did just inhabit other females and they came through, it is not explained, much like anything in the film. All of a sudden there's a necklace that can turn the stone. Okay. That's not in anything else.
Yeah, I was going to ask about a lot of things because you're more the Leprechaun expert, obviously. But it's good to know that I wasn't lost on these things because of
it's
personal
just a movie.
deficiencies. Yeah. I mean, that...
Mind control flutes aside.
Butch. Huh?
So it makes sense if you think about it. Because, like,
I'm waiting.
the Leprechaun has bling, right?
Yes, yes.
And this idea, I think as a premise, this works. Where we have a flashback to, like, someone stole from the Leprechaun, but he was left turned to stone still.
Now,
right?
who stole from the Leprechaun, Lee? Let's get that out of the way.
We'll get to that. But then, like in the future, someone robs that person, and now the Leprechaun's been released, and he's after them, and now you're dealing with the gangster and the Leprechaun, and you have the bling, and it's this
The
thing.
problem
or
is
whatever,
they don't
right?
even follow their own rules, though. So, like, the Leprechaun, throughout
How
everything
dare
else,
you.
is following his gold and killing anyone who has his gold. Because that's me gold, bitch.
me
In
gold.
this, they give all their gold to that first pawn shop owner guy.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I give you all this gear for everything you got in that bag.
He gave them like $500 and equipment. They spent that money at the Chinese guy's establishment.
All right, now, child, we need some party supplies, man. We want to celebrate. We want to party.
Like the big dogs we is.
You strike rich.
Hell yeah, we strike it rich, motherfucker.
And the Leprechaun turns up there too, because it wants like any money that changed hands too. That's never been part of his thing.
He doesn't like hand them some
No.
shiny thing.
And honestly, the idea, like, so they stole this gold from a little chest that was on, Ice-T. Yes, it's Ice-T. His table. The odds that he still has the original gold and it's just sitting on his desk after 20 years, he's established a whole fucking empire that, yes, he may have gotten in part from playing his flute, but since you can't record the flute, it could only ever have jump-started a career for somebody in person. So I think he would have had to spend some money to get the wheels greased. So that gold should be halfway across the fucking world, melted down into grills. Like, that would have been an interesting thing. Like oh,
wait,
my necklace and my this.
You're starting a new thing. Oh my god, it's so exhausting.
I have to exhaust all.
Yes, I don't know if that's all the gold or if there's more gold in the thing. Or
Even
what's
it being
happening
any
or
seems
whatever.
weird.
It seems fine. Who cares?
Well, in a script this bad, I'm going to pick apart many things.
There's so many more interesting things to talk about than that.
But if at your base you're like, that's kind of a stretch. Everything that is already that's clearly a stretch is built on a pile of just uneasy timber.
Everything else could have been amazing, and I would have been like, this movie's amazing.
Back up, motherfucker. Before I smack the shit out of you.
Who cares about the premise? He's going to kill people. You breeze through all that.
Yes.
These deaths are horrible. There may not be
Mostly none of them
any
are
good deaths. Is that
I
accurate?
do like the one guy. He's like, blow, speaking of blowing or something, and he busts
that?
a hole
Yeah.
through his chest.
Did somebody say blow? Hallelujah.
He does a
Like
Hadouken.
like a cannonball of invisibility.
Kamehameha and just
something
blows through his
It's
chest.
just the way that like Ice-T looks through the hole. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay,
funny.
That's
but
funny.
Yes, when he goes.
Ice-T is a humorous guy, and
yeah.
in this, as much as anything else, he carries a certain wisdom. There's a bit of schlock here, like he pulls a knife out of his afro, and then a baseball bat out of his same afro.
Isn't there three things?
Well, he has a gun originally.
Okay, but
The gun gets
that's
like
it. But
heat stroked out of his hand.
did not come out of his afro.
Yeah, then I think the knife gets like blammied away, and then the bat just like ah.
It's so bad to watch the leprechaun go, ugh, and then to have Ice-T go, ugh, and like throw the bat behind him.
Yeah.
Like, that's awful. That's horrible.
He kills the first death is a man getting stabbed in the neck with an afro pick. Now, I thought they dropped the ball here. So, like, I like, dropping the ball moments here. Is that gentleman, is like picking his fro. He, like, takes the necklace or whatever happens. Leprechaun comes back, takes the afro pick, and stabs him in the neck. He stumbles out of the, like, tomb and falls, in front of Ice-T. And like, what the fuck's going on? It would have been great if just before he fell, he pulled out of his neck and went, like, and then died.
Yeah, if you had established that this is like a tick, he's constantly doing it, and then done it.
That's just the thing. Anyone that ever has an afro pick is picking.
Yeah.
You try bullshit. Chow! You get the fuck out!
So that moment when he's pulling stuff out of his afro is when I thought, oh, maybe this is like a gem that I forgot about. And it's like really like, tongue in cheek and like smart about it.
At
That's
what
cool.
moment did you realize that is not true at all?
Like 5 minutes later, like
Oh, it took 5 minutes?
less than 5 minutes
Okay.
later. Yes, when I was like, oh.
Like, what
never
is
mind.
this? Who would be
Yes.
in this movie?
Like the Chinese dude who dies, you literally just see the leprechaun's glove. It like
You
the
see
fake.
more of him freak dancing than you do his
Yes.
death. Yeah.
His death has nothing in it. There's so many, like certain parts you would cut away tastefully. It's like you cut away and then there's a gunshot and you're like, whoa, or whatever. But there's a part earlier where the leprechaun conjures like the zombie lover of like the one pawn shop dude.
You look beautiful.
It's been too long, Jackie. It's been too long.
But I don't
You don't
understand.
have to, don't. I just want you to love me, baby.
And like she has makeup on her face.
Yes.
Baby, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad.
Oh, Jackie.
But there's like once the dude gets a good look at her, she's like this, like the back of her head, and they never cut to a reverse shot of like a close up of her looking all gross. And
Well,
stuff.
it should have been, I believe it's supposed to be Warwick Davis himself, so there should have been the cut
Just
shot
use
of
him.
Warwick in the wig.
In the wig,
And like
yeah.
maybe put him on a step stool or whatever for the shot, but I
Yeah.
think they could not make that transformation happen to him getting back into it, and they're like, let's just not try it all. Hey,
But, like,
this
they-
movie cost $1 or whatever.
They don't even show that actress because it must have looked too bad, right?
Yeah,
They were like,
they
we
showed
can't even show-
that one brief
no,
remote
but
transmission.
You need the money close-up shot, even if
of
you're
him
not,
like licking his lips and some shit.
yeah, even if you're not going to show the actual death, because then it cuts to I think the leprechaun listening to like the noises of the death or something. Like it's very confusing. Whatever. But
Or
even
the flute maybe.
even if you were just going to show the like dead woman or whatever with like the stuff on her face, like that would have been something.
And there's no
But they
establishment
just
of like this
skip
is
all
his
that.
long lost lover or something. It's just
No.
something you have to pick up in the
Okay,
moment.
good. I was gonna say because like some of the stuff I may have missed or whatever, but you agree that was just
No,
you know,
it should have been a thing like
he's just
earlier
like,
on with him
"Donna?"
like
Yeah.
like looking at a locket like,
Yeah.
what do you think if Sweet Donna was still here? Like, yeah.
There's only one thing that I would want
Yeah.
to wish on for a leprechaun.
No,
Oh.
it's dumb. Our main characters are these people you've never seen before in anything.
Oh yeah, the actual plot of the movie.
Yeah, so like they're rappers. They're positively explosive on stage. They blow up at one point. Because our boy's like a chemist or wannabe chemist or something.
they're rappers and they're positive rappers. One guy is negative though.
I would say
And-
only one of them is actually positive, and his other
Yeah.
guy's name is Stray Bullet. So there's a
there seems to
Postmaster
be-
Postmaster K,
Postmaster P,
Postmaster P. Yeah.
because he delivers
Yeah.
positive messages.
Postmaster P. Postmaster, what is that shit? You ain't never been in the military?
No, it's Postmaster P because I deliver a positive message, man. That's all.
Yeah, and there's already a Master P, so he had to add Post to his. Yeah.
Well, he's after Master P.
After Master P would be a good name.
Postmaster P.
I'm after Master P.
After Master.
I hope you had sex last night, because I'm going to come over there and cut off your dick. Then I'm going to feed it to my pit. Then I'm going to burn the shit when it comes out of my goddamn dog's ass. You hear me?
I love it. And then you have your third guy that you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Is like he's a chemist. He's like making the,
What's his name,
the
like
fake
Butch
smoke or whatever.
or something like that?
I don't know anything about this movie.
I think it's Butch, Stray, and Positive.
I liked some of this stuff, some of like the conflict between them and how they, because they decide to rob. Ice-T's, he's in charge of rap.
Yeah, he's like the Suge Knight of this
He's
world.
the guy, yes. Which we don't know yet, but is because he has a magic flute
Yeah.
that can mind control or whatever it does, spaces people out just right. He is like, get out of my office! You guys suck. You don't want to be positive. My record label is about Uzis and fucking awesome stuff.
He says,
Whatever.
shooting your homies in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
This label, we rap about Uzis, blowing motherfuckers' heads off. You know what I'm saying? Smack your bitch up. Shoot your motherfucking homeboy in the face type shit, all right?
Smacking your bitch up.
There's a great one too where what does the guy say? Instead of it's not like home slice or home skill. It's like all right, home school. Like it was something where I'm like, who wrote this?
Who the hell wrote this?
So what up with the gig, homeschool? We on the bill or what?
The bill, man. Don't worry about the bill. Y'all gonna get that.
It's weird like that. It's definitely a problem. But yeah, like the main dude, Postmaster Flex, was good.
I
Like,
think the other one is better, honestly.
better at what?
So they go through this thing where there's a really hard swing where like there's a lot of featuring of them like rapping.
Run, here come the man, he got deuce deuce. Thought he clown, we told him to cruise. Broad eye AK, he gonna lose. Smoke the motherfucker for the moment, we was cool.
And like half the time I'm like, oh, this is serviceable, like 90s caliber rap.
No more wannabes, no more nigga please. Now we the big cheese, you gonna say please. Dope is a track, hope got it back. Gonna get lost next step, that's a fact.
And the other time I'm like, this is the worst MySpace garbage I've ever heard.
Jesus loves me, I don't know. Jesus loves me. The hell if I know. If Jesus loves me, then it's my day. We better pray, or he'll make us pay.
And it's not always a direct thing like, oh, the flute just played, I got hit off the flute, I have powers or something now. Like, it's just back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a mistake. And I'm like, I think the person who wrote this doesn't know what is good, and they think it's all good or all bad. I don't know.
That's honestly a really interesting question. Is are they trying to be always good or always bad? Because it can't be inconsistent, like you're saying, because nothing drives the inconsistency.
It doesn't work.
I didn't mean that he was a better rapper. I meant that he was like a better actor.
Oh, okay.
They're all horrible rappers.
Yeah. Well, there's one
Who
part
cares?
where Stray is kind of giving the speech, and I was like, oh, given the proper material, it seems like he actually can rise to the occasion and do some stuff.
Yo, he done worse shit than us, man, keeping us brothers down. Controlling who get out and who don't. It's time somebody took something back, homie. Took some action.
He's not bad, but I just thought that the main dude steals the show. There's a point at the end where he is like crying over his dead friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Why is he acting like it's a movie and he's acting? Why are we hanging on this for so long? But it really worked. I was like, oh, this is okay. This guy's all right.
By the end, they're filming like his rap performance, and I'm like, was he not available anymore? The way they're filming this makes you think this is a stuntman, but then it zooms in on him, and I'm like, I think that's him.
I think it is him, but it's so dark that you cannot tell.
Yeah.
And not just for funny reasons, but you literally
it goes to this thing where it's like made by a writer who I'm like, who taught you to write? And then certain parts I'm like, who taught you to film? Like, it's this comedy of errors that do go into making this very interesting, because it's so nonsensical and like on the cusp of unwatchable at times that make it so good. Do you know what I mean?
I do, in a way. I did not think it was so good, but just so everyone knows where we stand, because sometimes it looks so bad.
But there's never like focal problems or sound problems that should run hand in hand with all the other issues
with the
that
other
I'm seeing.
Types of problems. Yes.
But it doesn't.
Because like when you have like a character die and it just cuts to like really close up shots and really quick shots. Things that are happening, but you're like, you don't even get like, it's not even like, oh, that was so heinous that they couldn't show it to me for more than a half second. It's like, no, they just don't have it.
Yeah, there wasn't there.
They're just trying to put it together later. It's bad.
Coolio is in this movie for 5 seconds.
They say, what's Coolio? And then it is.
It's 2 shots, both for like a second and a half.
Yo, that's Coolio.
Jesus loves me, this I know.
I'm like, oh, you're rapping now.
This is some rap right here. Yeah.
And then you don't see him leave, you don't see him sit down, you don't see him again. It's just like, oh, okay. Was he just around and you're like, oh, quick, let me put you in this?
There are some other shots where from behind someone else almost looks like he might be Coolio.
I got no time for negativity. Smooth is my groove and fresh my recipe.
If you hadn't seen Coolio in this movie, to know that Coolio doesn't quite look like that at that moment. But had you not seen Coolio for years, you might have thought, that's the back of Coolio's head. I was very confused by this as well. I chose not to look into it.
No,
I have no idea.
I bet there's nothing even about it.
Because he's just friends with Ice-T. He's just like, whatever.
Maybe.
And they were like, hey, do you want to come down?
That's about the best reason I could think of.
And then they cut all of his actual dialogue from the movie.
If he had any. But we know, like, Coolio is an actor on par or better than most of the actors in this movie. So I don't know what you would have cut if you had more. And the idea that you would cut, even honestly, the worst things, he could, like, be just saying, hey, I'm in the movie Leprechaun 5. And I'm like, well, you'd put that in.
That's hilarious.
Like, what the fuck?
Of course.
Because you have so little to go on in any other direction. This movie has pound for pound more people dressed like women than any Leprechaun movie. Period.
Damn, Post. You look good for real. Fuck you, nigga.
So normally we track like what's the kill count of the movies.
Yep.
And this is how many cross-dressers we've had on camera at the
3,
same time.
if you were wondering.
They do a really good job, all of them.
You're just the right size, too, for Miss Fontaine.
I like whenever someone dresses up like a lady in a life or death scenario where they have to be passable and don't shave.
It's pretty good. Yo, his friend, like the chemist guy, has his headlamp still on.
Yes!
He puts it back on after they're incognito. He has
He's like, Mr. Leprechaun! I'm like,
It's
what
so-
do you think you're doing?
So weird.
And he never explains why he's wearing that. He doesn't have it in the beginning of the movie. He puts it on for the plan, but the plan is dressing up like ladies.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are they there for?
Mr. Leprechaun. Mr. Leprechaun. Yo, Mr. Leprechaun.
Not fixing the equipment. They're not rigging their equipment so that it'll pick up the flute but feed it back, and then Leprechaun will be under his own spell. There's no culmination of what's been laid down as a plot to finish the movie.
You could have done a thing where
okay.
they had headphones on and microphones, because now they have it, and they're hearing all the sound through the microphone into their headphones so they can hear in real time, but we know that it doesn't translate through recording devices, so they're not affected by flutes, but then they still just get fucking blowed and killed. Like, at any point, the Leprechaun could have killed anyone he wanted to, and I don't know why he doesn't. And that's what's so annoying about, ghosts or inconsistent power type movies, because it's like, well, why didn't they do that? For fun.
Yeah, the whole premise is that, I think the other Leprechauns I've seen, maybe not the first one, but even the first Leprechaun, the whole point of it is, they can make a movie about anything. And then people saw it and they were like, this Leprechaun is really freaky. This is actually good or whatever, right? But then, since then, I feel like it's all rested on the the Leprechaun just wants to have fun or something. So that's why there's a movie.
I guess.
That's it. There's no...
Yeah, here he is, smoking
could just
weed, pimping
do this
hoes,
or
he's
whatever.
doing his thing.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's what I was getting at 4 things ago. Was the point is the only culminationatory thing is they have to get him to smoke weed that has 4-leaf clovers in it.
And some special weed.
Come closer, my fresh young lass.
And did I have a stroke? Did that do nothing? Because a moment later, he's using his powers.
It briefly incapacitates him.
So briefly.
It actually works a lot better on his demon mistresses or whatever.
It breaks the spell on that.
Slap in the hood come to do no good. What happened?
Just get them through the whole thing, whatever. But that's the closest thing to something that should have been like a plot thing, but they're not drug dealers. They're not weed chemists. They don't even really, are they even ever smoking weed in the movie?
No.
So why, that's just this weird exploitation thing of they would obviously use weed and rap to defeat him because they're black. It makes no sense or whatever, right?
And it feels like it's written by the whitest dude ever.
Right?
Just because of how things play out in the movie. You're like, okay, this is uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, because earlier too, this movie was quoted by people.
The bomb.
I'm not going to go get the quotes, but weed people. I knew weed people.
Okay.
I was a weed person for some period of time. People were super into to the Leprechaun, being like, "Oh, what a nice blend," and doing all that shit, and being like, "This is the bomb," and doing all those fucking quotes from the movie and everything.
I couldn't look past during that part where I'm like, why is Ice-T being so casual with this thing that is obviously a murderer? Why did they
Because
not just...
weed soothes the savage beast. He thought, he just wants a hit, and then actually keep it. You're good. I'm gonna leave now. Don't tear anything off of me. And then he does.
When they break into his office and the Leprechaun with the golden medallion that they want is in his office, they plant a fucking C4 charge.
Just play that hating on
On glass
to blow the...
Just hit it with a hammer.
It's in a fish tank.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have to set the charges to blow it up. Yo, listen, if they'd have had more money, they would have had those dudes crawling through...
Rappel down...
laser webs,
Mission Impossible style?
There's another one. It's Entrapment. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, he'd have his ass up in the air. He'd be like, yeah, we're crawling under these things. It would be hilarious. The movie isn't really a parody, though. It's not really like a satire like that. Exactly. They're trying to be like, oh, it's like, you know, hey, we have like a Chinese shopkeeper who's super cringe, and they're like shouting at each other, you know, like in a Spike Lee movie, because that's what we're going for.
You leave Child's store. Go on, hip and hop your black ass home. 回来回来 go go go. 这么那个好。
But then that doesn't translate into a thing that happens in the movie where you go, oh, they defeated him with like their community and the power of like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it feels like this would be a showcase where you would pull some up and coming rappers into this role and be like, okay, let's like show what you got here. Like, yeah, it's gonna be quid pro quo. We got you, Vanilla Ice, whatever. Like, you know, something like that. Because like. You'd think it would be a moment where you're showcasing talent.
He's gonna learn that he, you know, he doesn't even need the flute. That he's actually good now. Oh,
something. But then like it's like them rapping in the church, and I'm like, know your audience, bro.
His disciples was some bad mofos.
What is this saying? Like Mary was a hoe, and we got this. And
okay, so like they have a church adjacent rap that they can do, but they are realizing, oh, the crowd's not going to be down with this.
Yeah.
So they have to use the flute to trick them into dancing happily to like anti-Christian rap.
Jesus works in a mysterious way. That ain't no answer. I'm gonna do it my way. Jesus loves us. We don't know. Jesus loves us. The hell if we know.
Never really even explained what the flute is doing.
Yeah.
So like I would have liked something with like, oh, you blow the flute and whatever you're thinking is like what it makes people do or something. Because like most of the time he just blows it and people just look at him. And I'm like, okay, so you can draw a crowd this way, but if you're not also talented, drawing the crowd doesn't do anything.
It seems to give them stroke-like symptoms and like befuddles them in some way. Maybe makes them more pliable to the power of suggestion and liking your shit. But they don't make that clear at all.
No, because there's one
and
part where they're in like a back
Ice-T was
alley.
able to do it.
It's like a back alley luau deck in the hood.
Call me straight. You know that I pull it with no delay out my waistband. Cause you know I'm from the wasteland. It's from the dome. I roam through the chromosomes. Come around, I pound you in the head with reds and legends.
Something or other. What? And like his crew leaves, like the transvestite lady leaves, like they have the boombox gone, he like blows the whistle and all of a sudden a concert is happening now and I'm like, what does the whistle do? Because people that aren't even around somehow gather for it and start doing the thing.
This is an obvious Pied Piper thing going on.
But that would be interesting too, if that's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, the not explaining it, it you know, dampers some of
No, we have some problems here. And you would think, well, the movie's not concerned with that because it has to get to these hilarious things and all that stuff. And it's like, no.
Yeah, if they were hilarious.
Exactly.
There's no real cutaways or asides. There's one moment that's a dream sequence where his grandma stabs Leprechaun in the eye. And this terrifies him for some reason?
That's just shit that they filmed, and they were like, I guess it's a dream, because we can't put this in the movie.
Yeah, this is so... Oh, we can't have him kill an old blind lady.
Yeah.
All right, just make that a dream. He wakes up fucking in a panic that... Your grandma just gave him some chicken? Like, what the fuck? And her like, oh, your hands, that's so arthritic.
You got the arthritis.
Yeah.
Ooh, child. You got the arthritis real bad. Your little hands is all knotted up.
Oh, like you can't. I'll feed you because your hands don't work. I'm like, what's happening?
Like that part that you're getting at there, bordered on like Scary Movie to me.
Yeah.
Where like
take my good hand, bar.
Take it, take my.
Where like grandmom is gonna be feeding feeding Leprechaun like he's a baby. Let's just say that and be like that's not. But like it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go where it needs to go. It's really dumb. It's not.
It's extremely dumb.
It's not good.
No, but as I've said for years and will continue to say, a title is all you need, and Leprechaun in the Hood is a name that you're like, okay, I need to see that. Cut to any little chunk of the trailer where it's him smoking weed or rapping, and you're like, this is probably the best movie ever. Cut to Ice-T pulling a bat out of his afro, and you're like, okay, I'm watching something that I definitely want to see this. I will give you my $250 blockbuster or whatever.
Do you think there should have been more flashbacks? Do you think after the like heist and everything's done with, when we need to like catch our breath, instead of just doing the same thing 3 times where Ice-T catches up to them, we flash back and we see a little bit more of like, they call me Pops because I punch people. We have a nice little like, it's like more Ice-T, making his way, using the flute,
I think,
tricking
yes.
people.
You could
Just
have had
something
a flashback,
to build it up.
And in that flashback, not only is Ice-T figuring out what the flute is, so that's your exposition to like how it works and what
now
it does,
we'll know what the flute
but we
is,
also see that Punch-Out guy lose the love of his life and all these other things, and like it really comes fucking into a full circle where things make sense. Right? And if this were a better movie, it would have done those things. And maybe even it shows a young Chinese man breakdancing on the street, and there's even a little playoff there, and we have all of it come full circle.
So horrible. The character of Chow is horrible.
He's
supposed to be.
Well, his head gets tickled.
But
Oh, handy.
he also is horrible. So that's the dichotomy there.
Well, that's the mix here, where a lot of this is like, did no one audition for this role? Because you got some people here that don't necessarily fit the parts that I think you would want.
And are super cringe.
And just, I'm going to always lean back on just the fact that his powers are whatever are convenient at the moment. Like, he's trapped in a safe. It's like, okay, well, there's no four-leaf clover on that safe, so we know he can just walk out of that. So I don't know why he summons demons and then just walks out of that. Like, literally, the demons don't even kill the priest. He does.
Praise be, good reverend. Now give up me golden flute.
Because he's already outside of the fucking thing he's locked in.
He needed the demon to distract the priest, so that we knew that the priest was trying to have premarital sex, which makes him eligible to die in a horror movie.
Come, my child. Come and let me lay hands upon your sinful creature.
Yeah.
So you mentioned rapping.
Mm-hmm.
There's rap throughout the movie. A lot of those scenes go on for too long. So to your point, I wonder if any of these people were trying to have a career.
I'm ripping up the stage, Butch ripping up the track. Postmaster P, that's me, you see. The piece for positive, and that's my guarantee.
I don't know if that's possible. It's very strange. At the very end, there's a scene. It kind of calls back to an earlier scene where the like necklace is falling, and Leprechaun screams. He basically goes, "Oh no!" Never.
Yeah, you think it's the same thing that happened,
and it's a setup where you think, which I thought was like good. You think, oh, the guy, he's lost everything. So now he beats the leprechaun and he turns to the dark side. He's no longer positive, or even if he is, he's just using the flute, which is negative, right?
Even just losing all your friends, that could make you negative.
Yeah, this is Return of the Jedi. He's wearing the collared, black, sweater now. He's changed. He's different. The point is, it's all like a big thing. It cuts to the leprechaun, who's like, I taught him everything he knows. And then you get another rap where the leprechaun raps.
I'm a wee green guy who's new to town. Show me what you do when you get down. I'll go up, you go down.
This is what it's all been building up to.
But why would that even happen? Why
the leprechaun rap?
Let's think about what actually happened. So the necklace was falling. It didn't land on his head. He's still alive. And he was like, bam! Instead of blowing out his chest, he's like, "You're gonna be my slave and rap for me."
Yeah,
why?
Because the leprechaun the whole time was just trying to find the best rapper.
That would be an interesting plot.
No,
I'm taking you because you're gonna get me a gold record.
We're going platinum. Exactly.
He doesn't like platinum, Lee.
That's true. He only wants gold records.
Not too good.
Don't sell because you're the perfect amount of good. You're not too good. You're not going to sell too many records. Yeah. No, there's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
Is why is this happening?
No, I would recruit the leprechaun into my League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Of course. No, okay, let's not even. There's no turning point, though, is my point, where the leprechaun says, oh, actually, this guy had the right idea. I should be doing this with the flute.
Yeah.
But I can't be out there rapping with me little whatever. I need, this guy, perfect. You're in the right place at the wrong time, Pally. And then he does the thing. Did the leprechaun always talk only in rhymes?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take it from you, homie. You'll see. Because the Lep is the real OG.
From the first movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
didn't think so.
In the very first movie, when he's first in the basement, he might say things that aren't a rhyme, but pretty much everything he says is a rhyme.
That's a thing for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a Leprechaun trope. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, it's fine.
But
I just didn't think
that would
it
make him
was
so
always a thing.
perfectly applicable to be in this movie. Like, oh, what is this? Rapping. A fellow Irishman. Like
he kind of almost tries to kind of do that.
What's that?
What's that? It's rap.
Rap?
But there's no like we needed like a freestyle battle where the
Yes.
Leprechaun has to like defeat.
We needed Leprechaun versus B-Rabbit, and that could have been this.
And everyone's like, this little guy's pretty cool, and it becomes like a like a thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, keep your flute. And he's like, no, wait. It's just it's great.
I didn't come to play with fruit. I only seek me magic flute.
Well, that's such a musical way of putting it.
I like after like all this attempts to sell this fake Jimi Hendrix signed guitar, they just throw it in a dumpster.
It's pretty good.
It's like,
because they stole that from a blind kid.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of just dumb things like that. Like Ice-T is behind the Leprechaun at pretty much the end of this movie, and like he's holding the necklace in one hand, and you're like, great, he's gonna get him with that fake out and just drop it out, hits him with a fucking chair.
Mac Daddy ain't dying today.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. He doesn't seem like a smart man.
He doesn't seem like the dumbest man on earth though either.
What's up, little bitches?
The Leprechaun not knowing what rap is, but also making a Tiger Woods reference right out of the Frozen thing. I'm like, who wrote this?
Unhand me gold, you thieving hoods. You got more loot than Tiger Woods. What the fuck is that?
He's a mess.
Idiot.
He doesn't know what weed is. It seems like.
I feel like, I think he knew what weed was. He didn't know what that weed was.
He says like, what a blend or something.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting blend.
Interesting bullshit. That's the bomb right there.
Oh, this is the hypnotic chronic. Like, what is that?
It's just the bubonic chronic.
I think my last thing that I have to touch on is when he's talking with the Leprechaun at the end about he's in his dress and he's sitting down. They're having that little conversation. He does a Leprechaun impression.
If this is to be post last stand, you'll have to take this flute from me cold dead hand.
Pretty
shit!
Fucking good.
Oh no!
I was watching it going like, wait a minute, did Warwick Davis say this, or he's like, it's a pretty good Leprechaun impression.
Sure.
He's an actor.
No, that's what I'm saying. That guy's a good actor.
Yeah.
I tried to look him up. He just does TV and stuff.
Only does Leprechaun movies.
He only does.
Just this one.
But then you find out he's actually Irish.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, oh, top of the morning to you.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
I'm gonna kill that little green motherfucker. Look at my fucking finger. I'm gonna kill his fucking ass.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust. Come and browse our aisles for the movies that you love and know. Stop by Cannibal